All right, everybody, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your main man, the minister, Jonathan Simmons. And bam, there we are on the screen here. One can then welcome you to the lockdown living room as we broadcast to you right here live from Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to have a great show on tonight. And we thank God for those of you who are watching us here on every single portal that you have decided to tune in. Again, you're watching the Real Talk Sports Show and you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we also are simulcasting on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Like I said, again, we got a great show that is set up here for you tonight. And, whoa, let's get our mic situated. There we go. Let's get back in the mic. Oh, there we go. Yes, we are here and back in the action. Like I say again, it is a great day to be alive. This is election day. November the 3rd, Tuesday. For those of you who didn't vote, you got probably no more time. I think the polls close at 8 o'clock, but hopefully you guys got out there, got some early voting happening, and, pick the candidate of your choice. I don't think we're going to get into too much tonight on who the best candidate is because that is really why we can choose the candidate. It's up to us to vote for the one that we think is best, not only for president, but also we need to be very aware that there's lots going on in politics in terms of your local elections, your statewide elections. There's a lot going on just besides, the presidential election, which I know is under a lot of scrutiny and everybody's feeling some kind of way about that. But I'm just here to tell you is, hey, please, ma'am, please, sir, don't get yourself bound to shape. Keep yourself together. Today I posted a scripture that dealt with the idea of making sure that we work with one another in love, that we don't do things in a harsh manner, that we don't do things in a way that is going to disrupt the country any more than it already has been. It's very, very critical during this time that we seek peace. Now, I know you're saying, well, hey, brothers, a lot has gone on in this world, and that's true. But at the end of the day, what we want to do, especially those of us who are believers, we want to make sure that we are doing all we can to pursue peace. Okay? That's what we want to do today. So we want to make sure to pursue peace. And what we're going to do is in just a few minutes, we're going to have Deshaun Tate come on and join us. He is our basketball savant. And LeBron James and a lot of other celebrities did some great stuff in terms of donating some money. So we're going to talk to him about that. We're also going to talk to him about how basketball players in general, both the NBA and WNBA, were very influential in terms of shaping the conversation for the political discourse in this, really unique COVID protest pandemic season. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about that, and we'll talk to you. If you want to join us here on the broadcast, matter of fact, we're going to go to social media right now and see some of the comments here on social media. And there we go here. We got a nice shout out there from Dude in Texas. Thank you for checking out our spot here. We're in the lockdown living room. And again, we're excited to be on the air with you and to be able to talk to you here from just south of downtown Atlanta. We're about maybe about 20 miles east of downtown Atlanta, and we're very near the Atlanta airport. And we're very, very fortunate to be here and blessed. And like I said, again, we cover pretty much all sports, but our specialty pretty much is football because here down in the South, football rules the roost. It's all about football, and more football. So for those of you who are watching us and say, why do guys talk about football so much? Because down here in the South, that's just the way it is. I mean, football is what rules the engine. So we're going to talk a lot about football, and today is no exception. We got great stuff going on. Later on in the broadcast, we're going to bring in our high school football teams. Hopefully, both teams will be here to pop in with us. We know that Jonesboro Cardinals have told us they will be here. They are undefeated at 5-0. They're one of the best teams here in Clayton County, along with Lovejoy, which is on the other side of the county. But right now, the only undefeated team in the county is the Jonesboro Cardinals. So again, they will be joining us. The coach and a couple of their players will be joining us in around the 8:15 time slot. And then if they can make it in, we also have invited the Tri-City Bulldogs to join us. They also are outstanding team. And we hope to have them join us also after the Jonesboro Cardinals. Those two teams, guys, I got to tell you, we are the official live stream here at one of the major stadiums at Clayton County. They have three stadiums. One called Tara Stadium, which is we are the official live stream media group. They also have 12 Oak Stadium, which Lovejoy makes their home, and also Southern Crescent Stadium. But we have been covering the games at over at Tara Stadium. Actually, excuse me. It is now Hines Ward Field. That's right, Hines Ward, former Pittsburgh Steelers star, graduated from Forest Park High School. So now the field has been renamed Hines Ward Field at the historic Tara Stadium. And really, the games, unfortunately, have been a little lopsided. But we are happy to report that we went on the road, and we'll talk a little bit about how that turned out. But we went on the road and to cover the Jonesboro Cardinals and stream their game. And we saw what we expected. It was really the best game of the year as they took on a 4-1 Tri-City squad. And anybody who was watching that game, if you weren't a fan of high school football, before that game, you certainly would have been after that game. Jonesboro pulling out a tremendous last-minute victory, 24-20. Like I said, again, I can see that the Jonesboro guys are assembling in the green room off stage, so we'll get them on right about the 8:15 time slot, and they're going to talk to you, recap that tremendous, exciting game, and also talk about some of the big games that they have coming up in the future, and the challenges of playing a lot of games in a short period of time, because what the COVID has done is, because of the protocols that have to be met by the schools, what we're seeing is that the games have been kind of moved around and postponed. So we're going to talk to Coach about his sensibilities about playing through that, and also, again, a recap of their unbelievable game against a Tri-Cities High School, which ended in a 24-20 last-minute Jonesboro victory. Well, before we do that, we're going to talk a little basketball. We haven't had him on for a while, so we want to bring him back on because basketball players have been really kind of driving the engine as far as sports and politics. So back from his many travels, Deshaun Tate is back in the building. Deshaun, welcome back, brother.
Hey, appreciate you for having me, man. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thank the Lord, I got my vote in. I was like the old school OG. I went right down and did my thing. Fortunately, as I reported on Facebook earlier, there were no incidents, no threat of incidents. We were able to get right in there and vote, and without incident. I think I was there a total of 45 minutes, and most of that was me, just staring at all the candidates, saying, "Dang, who am I vote for again?" So that was really it. But yeah, man, just wanted to get your feedback. Obviously, you're a different generation than me. Kind of your thoughts on, how really for the first time, since I was a little tiny kid and really didn't remember, that athletes, especially professional athletes, really got involved in the politics of our day.
Yeah. The NBA, NFL, everybody has been pushing voting. Great for unity, for our nation, to the important feedback when Barack Obama his way like then, and you see come voter down or like that to a little bit on the importance of black people to vote. And I thought something else, but nonetheless, we should be the importance of each citizen and respect and our opinions, options, or we want those to show being in a there's shades and opinions, but we can still you on hopeful under.
Well, now, brother, you're breaking up a little bit. You're kind of coming out a little bit, but basically the tenor of what you were saying is that this was, you were very pleased at the impact that players had on driving the narrative. The other thing, I want to give a big shout out to a team that we both cover, the Atlanta Hawks, for turning State Farm Arena into one of the largest polling booths in the country. Big shout out for them to jumping on that bandwagon early and, allowing people from Fulton County, an area which a lot of times people are having, I guess, some difficulty finding polling places, to have that stadium do that, man, was just I'm sure you were just excited as everybody else was.
I wasn't um you know process. I've been each floor entire time. Still I know very loving the that on there farm arena be able to and still.
Well, listen, man, like I said again, we appreciate you dropping in on us. We're having, like I said, a little bit of problems with you kind of going in and out. I'm not sure if it's my headset or what's cooking, but we appreciate you for joining us as you always do, and we look forward to having you come back on with us again, and just let people know kind of all of what you're doing with Take Sports, Hoops, I should say now, and all the good things that you're doing in terms of keeping us on top of the basketball world.
Yeah. A platform basketball. Anywhere you it. That big Booms cast the whole 951. So I pop for the action for 220 you.
Well, one thing, brother, anytime we go live, it's always expect the unexpected. But like you said, again, we appreciate you, and we look forward to having you back on to join us again real soon. Deshaun Tate in the building, our basketball savant. Well, look, guys, for those of you who are listening to us on WIGO 1570, we want to give a big shout-out and kudos to our gold level sponsor for high school football, Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. They're located at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the city of Morrow, Georgia. You can shop them 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. We're going to take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we're going to shift the gears to high school football as we talk to one of the only undefeated team in Clayton County. If you want to find out who that is, you got to keep it locked right here on the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, guys, we're back here again. You're listening and watching the Real Talk Sports Shows. We broadcast to you on multiple platforms here. First of all, big shout out to those of you watching us on Facebook Live. Also, big shout out for those of you who are watching us on YouTube. And of course, we want to give a big shout out to all those hearts that are fluttering, to those people watching both live on Periscope and on the replay. We thank you so much for doing that. Well, like I say, guys, we're going to talk some high school football. That is what we do each and every week. It has been a challenge, I will tell you, trying to get this covered during the COVID situation. But nevertheless, we thank God for all the teams that have went out here and played some ball. So we're going to bring on Clayton County's only undefeated high school football team. First, we're going to bring in the head coach. Let him introduce himself to you. Head coach Timothy Floyd. Welcome back to the Real Talk Sports Show.
Hello. Thank you. Happy to have you.
Coach, man, it is great to have you guys back in the building. And first of all, I want to do this. I want to give an apology to all the Jonesboro fans and even to the Tri-City fans. One of the things that we did not know going out in as a visitor, that there were certain protocols that had to be met before we could live stream the broadcast. So we found ourselves unceremoniously having the broadcast stopped twice. And then finally, the AD said, hey, because you haven't set this up, we're going to have to actually have you leave the stadium. So, again, apologies for those of you who kind of heard that discourse. I talked to AD later. He was not aware, unfortunately, what has been going on down in his stadium, Coach, is that evidently some guys have been coming in and live streaming the broadcast. And what they were telling people is if you wanted to see the live stream, you had to pay for the broadcast, which, of course, the Real Talk Sports Show does not do that. We have great sponsors like Mr. Allen Vigil and also our Offensive Player of the Week sponsor, D&K Suit City, so we don't do that. But since the protocols that we were not aware were not met, we were not able to get the fans all of the broadcast. But I will tell you guys, our cameraman, Jason, who got a chance to talk to Coach after the game, we did get highlights. They will be up on YouTube. I'll put the alert out so you guys can see it. an epic game. Coach, let me just ask you first here. You guys were up at the half. Actually led pretty much most of the first half. They scored late, I believe, in the first half. They scored at 10-6. And then kind of take us through what happened as they kind of made those 2 touchdowns in the third period and really kind of had a commanding lead going to the final minutes of that game.
We kind of to a stall, and I'm here to get that.
All right, I'm gonna do this for a second, guys. I'm gonna take a quick break again. We're gonna adjust a few things on our audio, so you guys keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be right back.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, we're back here. We made some adjustments in our audio. Hopefully, Coach, we have eliminated some of that echo for you. And, yeah, just getting back to that game, like I said, tremendous game. It was really, for us, the best game of the year. And but it was challenging for you guys. Like I said, you guys, after coming up 10-6, found yourself trailing and down by 2 scores with 6 minutes to go. What did you tell your guys after that second score to kind of keep them motivated and in charge of that game?
Well, it was just we got to keep plugging and fighting. Some of the stuff we talk about the daily basis. It's you know, what happens, you just got to keep fighting. You never give up, and that's just cheer them on, keep fighting. You eventually come back outside and get a good job. Not give up until we got a break, and we're going to be that. Which was big.
Was no doubt. Like you said again, you guys kept the pedal to the metal, and you found yourself in a situation where not only had you climbed back, but now we're facing the possibility of taking a lead with less than a minute to go, and it was just really something to watch as you guys just kind of really executed. Want to give some big kudos to your quarterback, number 7, Mr. Chad Gamer. I mean, he seemed to be a one-man wrecking crew at one point, just in his mind thinking, I'm not going to go down until I can make a play.
You know, he did a good job of making some plays. I got to get it off his line. They had to take the heat with late in the game. They stood up and he moving around, five guys. And the guy got over. They Chad got off. Some plays he made, which you know was huge, and I think the whole team different.
I think you also, Coach, have some players out here I see in the green room. I think Mr. Dominic Killings might be with us, and Darius Pullins might be with us. Let's see if I can get these guys onto the program as well. Gentlemen, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm there.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's in the building. Well, guys, welcome back again. Again, how is it exciting for you guys? I know you have to take it one game at a time, but to find yourself at this point in the season being the county's only undefeated team.
It's a great feeling right now, but we still got to take each week and prepare. Take one game at a time.
No doubt. So I was asking Coach, and I'll ask you the same thing. What was really the key for you guys to mount those last 2 drives? 6 minutes to go, you find yourself down by 2 scores on the road and be able to come back and get the victory?
All that was staying focused, staying locked in on the key, staying locked in on the task at hand. We came together like we can't let this happen. Let's stay focused and game strong.
Yeah, again, I got to give kudos to what Coach is saying. Both line play, both offensive and defensive line, because you guys were playing a team similar to yourself that not only had a great defense, but could put some points on the board. You guys both played a similar opponent, Forest Park, and the outcome was pretty much the same. You guys hung up 59 on Forest Park, but the week before, Tri-Cities, they put up 70. So certainly, you guys rose to the challenge and were able to slow them down offensively and make the big stops at when you needed to make the stops to come on back. For you guys now, you guys have a couple of games now still coming up back to back. How are you guys now preparing, especially for next week? I guess a Monday night game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just trying to stay healthy. Keep everybody's body prepared for the next couple games.
And Dominic, I don't know if you can hear me, but what about you? What are some of the things you're trying to do to stay prepared? Because this is unusual for you guys. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to play outside of, just when we were little kids, sandlot, where you've had to play so many games in such a short period of time?
No, sir, I haven't. But like falling back in what days, keep my body healthy, come out, work hard, push ourselves to do better every day.
Well, Coach, it seems like your mantra, man, has really kind of set into these players because they all talk about the same thing. It's all about, again, being prepared, staying healthy. Now, do you guys have a game coming up this week as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
And then you guys turn right back around on Monday for the game that we do at Terra Stadium. Is that right?
Yes, sir. And then Friday, play Creek.
So, Coach, and I know you have to take one game at a time. And I know, obviously, before the COVID, you're thinking, I'm playing these guys week by week. So for you and your coaching staff, what are some of the challenges when you have to play in the span of 4 games in a very short period of time, 3 teams that are all, highly ranked and, to some degree, legendary type programs like a Creekside, like a Woodward Academy and Tri-Cities, kind of back to back to back to back like this?
First of all, we can stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. We try to break that to film a little bit about it, focus on that one team. I guess before, right after the Christ game, we talked about it for the next couple weeks, how difficult it will be, without fun, and from that point, it was just more day-to-day operations of trying to do the things to stay healthy, talk about eating and hydrating and just trying to make you stay healthy and fresh.
Okay, I'm just going to go over some, I don't know what kind of strategy we can really talk about here, but just give me an idea of what the play was called because one of your touchdowns late in that game came on a 4th and 22. So what did you call, and did it work out the way you guys suspected, or was it kind of an improvisation that got to that touchdown?
I'm not sure what it was called. The offense did a good job in the line, and they moved around, find an open spot, and they were able to hit him in the end.
And then on that final play, you guys once again find yourself knocking at the door, and you talked about your offensive line play. Do you guys, when you set up on particular plays, are there what am I looking for? Are you running a particular scheme, or like once the play kind of breaks down a little bit, you have to rely on the offensive line to have a feeling for what your quarterback's trying to do when he's trying to keep the play alive?
Well, we have the scheme on, and I think we have 5 games, so they got to feel about when he's going to stay, when he's going to move around, and just getting that camaraderie helps a lot.
And so now we know on offense, like I said, what you just mentioned, on defense, what do you guys run as a defensive scheme? Do you guys run like a 5-2-4 or 4-4-3? What do you guys normally run on defense? Because your defense has been very stout this year.
We're base 4, but we up front. We try to stay out 4-3.
So basically, you guys have been able to, and I think that was really one of the keys to the game against Tri-Cities. Late in the game, you guys were able to bring a lot of pressure. At any point, did you did you blitz late? Because it seemed like you picked up a couple of sacks late. That allowed you guys to get that offense off the field and get your offense another chance to score again.
No, we didn't. We just moved some guys around. They gave us some matchups that gave us the advantage. And, the guys taking advantage of the matchup.
Like I said again, man, it was the most entertaining game of the year. And we will have the highlights up, and I'll let you guys know and let the fans of Jonesboro know. But it definitely is one of the best games of the season, and it really shows that you guys have your place amongst the best teams in the state. Now, you guys are in Class 3A or 4A, Coach. What class are you guys actually in?
We're 5A.
5A. So you with the big boys. Right, got you. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, like I say again, 5-0 is 5-0. You have faced every opponent. And obviously, that Tri-Cities game, I think, should tell everybody in the state, certainly everybody in South Metro Atlanta, that you guys have really put together a top-quality team there, because to go on the road, like I said, be down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, 6 minutes to go, and to be able to pull that out. And I can tell you, at one point, I was on the Tri-City sideline. They were very, very vocal. So, again, kudos to you and your guys to be able to pull that victory out.
Thank you. Guys did an excellent job there. As you said, I think we have the situation.
Like I said again, Coach, we look forward to having you guys back with us here. I'm going to try to see who popped in. Somebody popped into the green room here. And this might be one of our sponsors here from DNK Suit City. Let's see if I can bring him on. Mr. Offensive Coordinator, are you there, sir?
Hey, how y'all doing today, man?
Well, you're sounding crispy and fresh this time.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you got to be excited, man. You guys came on board. And again, we're going to make the formal presentations in the next couple of weeks. Everybody's been busy with the COVID schedule, but we're actually going to try to do this in person and actually film it and then replay it on one of the shows. But again, an outstanding performance. You might have to come up with like 5 certificates, man, because Coach said he wants to give the whole offensive line Offensive Player of the Week.
Thank you, man. Hey, I'll tell you straight up, I take care of every one of them, man.
Well, and they did phenomenal job.
It's definitely good that, you know what I'm saying, that we got high schools. I mean, undefeated. But, this county has come a long way. Had that more high school state championship in the early 90s and stuff, man. And, the demographics have changed a lot. But it's great to be back working in this county. And helping out the community, man.
Like I said, man, we appreciate you for all you've done. Like I said, I'm going to get together with Jason, our cameraman, and we'll review the stats, and we will select an offensive player of the game, and then we'll make that presentation. We also have some presentations for the coach because, as you know, we always try to provide a $50 donation to each school that wins. So, Jonesboro, I think that they're going to stack up about 3 on we broadcast, so I'm gonna have to go in and get a whole lot of money for Coach. But again, we want to do this because Mr. Vigil wants to do this because we feel that in many cases, what happens sometimes is that the way the state is set up, oftentimes the schools, especially the northern suburban schools, because of demographics, often get more support from sponsors and from fan base. So what we're hoping is that we can kind of light a fire on the rest of the business community in Clayton County to have them come out support, not just Jonesboro because they're 5-0, but support the other schools and back what's happening here in athletics. Because I don't know about you, Coach, and you guys are probably too young, which is good. But with all this stuff that's been going on with the politics over the years, using this country, what is a great cause of healing and togetherness is sports. And so we're going to be kind of leaning on you guys to continue to do what you do, compete on the field, not worry about whether the guy in front of you is white, black. Just if he's not wearing red, white, and black, y'all about to lay the wood to him. And that's plain and simple. So we look forward to you guys continue to do that and continue to stand up with some excellence here and represent the county. And like I said, we look forward to having you guys back on again. And the next time we go on the road, Jonesboro fans, we will make sure all the protocol is done so we can give you the whole live stream game and then have to see me escorted out of the stadium at the end of the game. So we look forward to doing that. And again, just thank you young Mr. Kellogg and also Mr. Pulliam. Thank you guys for coming on and joining us. And like I said again, man, just kudos to all you guys. Keep up the good work because you got something. You guys got something special. You may not realize it now, but this is a special season. And I hope all you young men, in spite of the COVID and all the stuff going on, I can tell you this right now. Regardless of what happens the rest of the season, this team, every single team that's playing this year is going to remember because nobody, I don't care how far back we go, none of us have ever had to play any kind of sports in any type of COVID or pandemic. So for you young men to come out here and do what you're doing, my hat's off to you, and I can guarantee you everybody that watches this show say the same thing. So we appreciate you, and we look forward to having you guys back on again real soon.
Also, two minutes. One thing that I decided to do, speaking with the owners of DNK Sioux City.
Yes, sir.
So what we're going to do is, at the end of the football season, that the offensive player of the year and the defensive player of the year for the county, we're going to get them suited and booted. That means that we're going to put them in a suit, dress shirt, tie, and shoes. We're going to line them up.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay, so as soon as you said that, I'm watching my man Darius. He's like, oh, for real? Like, he leaned back. He's like, He said, I get a suit? He started thinking, I'm going to have to kind of go. I mean, I'm going out already. I'm going to have to do a little extra to get a suit and some shoes. Well, yeah, man.
One of the things.
Yes, sir?
They cannot perform on the field unless they're being coached.
Right.
I'm going to take care of the coach, too.
Oh, there we go.
That's how you do it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. This is really what I hoped when we started doing this coverage. You know, Coach Fuller tell you when some of the coaches first met me, I don't even know if they kind of knew what to expect from me, but we were committed to try to support this county. This is where I lived. I've lived on the South Side since I moved to Georgia almost 20 years ago. And I just want to make sure that all you guys, Darius, Dominic, all you guys that are playing know that we love you, man. We appreciate you, and we want to support you whenever you can. And Coach Hardy, we appreciate you, man, for getting the company to step up in such a way to be able to outfit these young men because, you know, when they get the awards, you got to look good. So you got to be suited and booted.
You got to look good.
Yes, sir. So again, man, we appreciate you, and we thank you, and we look forward to coming out with you and making the presentation. Don't worry. You can tell all the administrators we'll be safe. We'll keep the 6 feet away. We'll have the mask on. Whatever we got to do. But we want to make the presentation to you. And Mr. Vigil, I think, will want me to do the same thing. So you guys just hang tight. We'll pick a time. Coach, I'll call you, and then we can set it up and come on out there and give out some money and some gift certificates and keep things going. At the end of the year, who knows what else we might have to give out. Might be some hardware.
Now, one main thing also. The key thing is the offensive player and the defensive player of the year. Their grades got to be right.
Yes,
We only give it to student athletes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think Coach is with you 100%. And I think all his team, they understand the same thing. So, man, we appreciate you.
Okay.
Well, listen, Coach Hardy, don't go anywhere. Stay right here. We got to let the Jonesboro guys, kind of, because it's a school night technically. So we got to let them kind of go about their business. But again, we're so pleased that you guys were able to take time out because I want everybody watching this that knows, and some of you guys don't know, that these guys actually start practice very late. So literally in some cases, they're walking off the playing field and they might get a chance to kind of run home real quick. Or I remember a couple of times we had them on. They were still in the car. They hadn't gone home yet. So for these young men to take time out after, virtual learning, then practice, and again, you heard them talk about they got to play 3 games in like 16 days. We appreciate you. And all the people that watch the broadcast say the same thing. They're very appreciative of what you guys are doing, and that's we want to encourage in everywhere we can.
Trust me, they'll work out in the long run.
Yes, sir. That's right. All right, everybody, you guys be blessed. Coach Hardy, keep it right here. For all those of you who are watching and listening, we're going to take a station break again, and we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a minute. Don't go nowhere. Nothing better than the sound of diesel in the morning. And what better place to get high horsepower diesel than the all-new 2020 Ford F-250 now with 475 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. You know where to get it? From me, the minister, Jonathan Simmons at Allen Visual Ford Commercial Sales. Because you know why? I'm the commercial truck guy in a shirt and tie. Again, we want to give a big shout out to Allen Vigil Ford. They are, in fact, our gold level sponsor for high school football here in Clayton County. They allow us to go out here and be able to give you these live stream games. Also, they're a big supporter, of course, of the actual show itself. And we appreciate all those of you who tune in to watch us each and every week. Want to give a big shout out to Cornell Hardy over at D&K Suit City. You can see they have stepped up in a big way. And we want to encourage all those of you who are listening to this. You might have a small business. We want you to do the same. Please support the broadcast. We have sponsorships starting off with like Cornell did. He basically started off with a $25 gift certificate. Now I know you guys is the COVID has pinched you, but ain't pinch you that tight. Okay, $25 gift certificate, something that you might have if you're a restaurant. That would be great. Clothing store, whatever, maybe even a Home Depot, wherever you are. We'd love to have you be a part of what we're doing here in Clayton County, and it would be good for you. I think it'll be a feel-good moment for you and your group as well. So again, let me know. Contact me. Hit me up, 678-410-9833, and we would love to have you be a part of what we're doing here on the Real Talk Sports show. So again, we appreciate you so much. Well, listen, man, as you see, big stuff going on in high school football. You guys are a big part of it. Shifting gears just a little bit, talking a little college football. SEC is rocking and rolling. Once again, dominant in college football. It looks it's really coming down to Florida and Georgia, as it always does. But it really looks like the Florida Gators they might have a little bit of edge over the Bulldogs this year. Cornell, what are you thinking about that? Have you been able to watch much SEC football yet?
Yeah, I watched a couple of football games. Florida's looking pretty impressive to me.
They do.
Georgia got to figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback.
Buddy, I mean, when I tell you, when I tell you that situation looks terrible, and when I look at Florida, you look at a situation where it's amazing how one season can change someone's whole perspective. You look at their quarterback last year, Trask. He was a guy that oftentimes looked hesitant in the pocket. He looked uncertain when he moved out and rolled out. But this year, man, he's doing everything that basically they recruited him to do. He's throwing laser darts. He's got full command of this offense. And Florida's defense always is one to contend with. And right now, they certainly look like a top 5 team, even more so than Georgia.
That's more so as they talk about the head coach of Florida. They call him the quarterback whisperer.
How about that?
And look at this players he done developed. Quarterbacks he done developed.
No doubt, man.
I play with Cowboys.
There you go. Yeah, it's I mean, when you look at it gets down to this. The one thing that Georgia has seemed to have a problem doing since I've been watching them here is that they just don't seem to want to move into kind of the where college football is today, where you have a mobile quarterback, where you're operating out of spread offenses, doing different things. They still rely very, very heavily on having a more traditional type quarterback. The other thing I'm kind of baffled at is how come this whole quarterback thing exploded the way it did? Don't get me wrong. I understand that, hey, you got the COVID and you got those things going on, but first you have Jamie Newman. I'm kind of baffled to okay, did you not know? Did he not tell you, hey, there's a good possibility he might opt out? And then you have a guy like JT Daniels, this highly recruited guy coming from the West Coast. Allegedly, he's healthy, but you find a way to play him. So I'm kind of confused at what's kind of going on out there in Georgia. Be honest with you.
I'm not sure what they're doing. I mean, Bennett. I mean, he's doing what he got to do on the football field. But it looks like he's more of a game manager. And to me, the dynamics is just different. They deal with a pocket passer. However, you can't have a 120 in this day and age. You got to be multidimensional.
Right. And the other problem, too, is his size. I mean, the guy is just at 5'11".
Yeah.
And between his size and the fact that he throws in an unorthodox, like a 3/4 sidearm. So now you're talking about you got a guy 5'11", doesn't throw. Because if you look at a guy like a Drew Brees, who's about that size, you know, he's technically under 6 feet. Drew Brees throws the classic over-the-top ball where his arm is coming straight vertically, and he throws at an angle of trajectory that even a taller guy, he it's difficult to knock his passes down because the trajectory and the timing of the ball, because he gets it out very, very quickly, is on a very steep angle. Even when he throws a short pass. If you ever watch him, he never throws that kind of Michael Vick bullet pass. He's always got something with a little bit of an arc, which this young man doesn't seem to have mastered yet at Georgia.
Definitely like you talked about Drew Brees. Another great quarterback that had that same type of throw was Brett Favre.
Right. Yeah, of course. Now Brett could throw that whistle at you too, bro. He could, he could put that Hummer on you. Yeah. So if you look now, versus if you look at Florida, you look at Trask. This is a guy that seems to basically make all the throws, and so that's why our sponsor, Mr. Vigil, if you're listening, we're giving Florida a lot of love because it looks like this is like back in the days 10 years ago where Florida was very dominant over the Bulldogs. And don't get me wrong. The Bulldogs defense is still something to contend with, buddy. I mean, I don't care. You can say, hey, they played 3 yards in a cloud of dust. If you can hold any SEC team, East, West, to 3 points, you got a defense.
You do. And then when they play each other, it's going to be a very challenge because Georgia got a great defense, but those corners may have to lock up on the wide receivers.
Right. Yeah, and the one thing that Georgia has seen been susceptible to. Now, people talk about the fact that Kentucky ran the ball. I think a lot of that is just that, Georgia was thinking that Kentucky would try to move the ball in the air, thinking their defense would be too stout. I don't want to say they're necessarily surprised, but I think certainly no one would have thought that Kentucky would have been able to run the ball as well as they did against Georgia. But the realities is that if you watch Georgia games, Alabama showed this, you can't beat Georgia's defense deep.
Yeah, you can. But also too, if you looked at the game against Kentucky, the key was that the running game for Kentucky was the next level blocking.
Right.
The front defensive line, they went to the next level.
And that's a problem because I don't care who you're playing. If you have a situation where you can get solid blocks into that, like you said, that second level, and you have a decent running back, they're going to do what they did. I mean, I think Kentucky had somewhere around 200-plus yards on the ground, which was stunning, but that's it. And I can assure you, if the defense can't find a way to slow that down against Florida, I don't think it'll be as bad as it was a few years ago where Florida racked up 400 yards on the ground. But this could get decidedly bad if Georgia's offense can't find a way to give their defense enough rest and not have them be on the field for any long Florida drives.
I just really feel that they were relying on Jamie Newman to come.
There's no doubt.
And so therefore, when he opt out, who's next? But right now, you need two quarterbacks.
You know what I thought about, which is kind of funny? What I thought about watching Georgia struggle, I said to myself, it was, I think, later on that afternoon that I watched a young man wearing number 1 in Ohio State that's a Heisman Trophy candidate and thinking to myself, okay, Georgia, when you really look at it, they were in a position really set up to win 2 or 3 of the last 4 national championships, Clemson notwithstanding, because we saw even against LSU, although LSU beat them handily in the SEC championship, that was basically the closest game that LSU played. Georgia was the only team that really had slowed them down defensively because they had such a great defense. So this was a team, imagine, as great as LSU was, as great as Clemson has been, just imagine Georgia's defense, Georgia's running attack with a Justin Field at the helm.
It would have been nice. Georgia always been known as running back you.
Right.
It could have been quarterback you. The quarterback you don't have that left.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt at all. Let's go to social media here. We got some comments here. Let's pop on here. We got Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. He said he smells dog meat on Saturday. He said, go Gator. And by the way, what about Justin Field? Go Buckeyes. Well, hey, he's right. Spot on. I mean, that's it. Look, for Georgia fans, Florida fans right now are, and rightfully so, they're feeling themselves. What they look at, we're undefeated. We beat Georgia. Basically, we're on the fast track, not only the SEC championship game, but pretty much a berth in the college football playoffs, because pretty much that whoever, an SEC team with 1 loss, that's how this works. The college football playoff group is going to pick them over any other team unless they were extremely dominant. Over a Big Ten team who's undefeated, over a not Pac-12, but a Big 12 team that's undefeated. You got a one loss, especially that one loss comes to the SEC title game. Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what Florida going to do is they're going to pressure the pocket, cause business to come outside the pocket, and those ends will be right there waiting on them.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it, man. I mean, it's all about Georgia being able to. That running game is going to have to be on a different level. You know, Zamir White had a good game against Kentucky, but wasn't anything earth-shattering. I think he had just under 4 yards of carry. In order for Georgia to win this game with the quarterback they have, they're going to have to, I think, get about 200 yards on the ground.
Right. Just like you said.
Yeah.
He had a good game. But the Georgia running game had to be great this week.
Great. That's it. Well, speaking of great, man, it's always great having you on. And listen, I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank your management team down at D&K. You guys are, put this up to a different level by doing something like that. And it's just a blessing, man. I just thank you not only for support of this program, but the support of these high school kids.
I also like to thank the Caron fellas. They've been great to me since I've been with the organization. They also been great to the community. They have done a lot of things that nobody haven't said nothing about. They've been established for many years, and they just they good people.
Well, again, we appreciate you, man, and we appreciate what they've done. Appreciate everybody at D&K Sioux City, and you can see the reaction, man. When you said the Sioux, all them guys were like, they got very excited about the prospect, and that's what you want. You want the kids to be excited about what they can achieve and what they can do. And again, man, we just appreciate your support of the show and support of these kids. That's just spot on, man. So listen, how can people find out more about you, D&K Sioux City? Tell people the floor is yours, sir. Go ahead.
Well, D&K Sioux City, we had 1360 Mount Zion Road in Mars, Georgia. Right in the same plaza as our competitor, K&G Menswear. However, we have many deals in the store. If you text 875-733, text SAVE, you get all the promo deals that we get throughout the week. Right now, currently we have buy one, get one half off. So pretty much if you buy a suit, you get another suit, 50% off. You buy a sweater, get a light cotton sweater, 50% off. And you buy a jacket, you get a jacket 50% off. You can't beat. And if you see me or Mr. Leon, add another 10% to it.
Oh, there it is, guys, right there. You can't beat that deal. Oh, man, Cornell Hardy, we call him the offensive coordinator because he keeps everything together on the game plan. Appreciate everything you're doing out at D&K Sioux City. And we look forward to having you back on with us again soon.
And also too, for any customer that come in, when you get to the counter, just say Real Talk Sports. 10%.
You get a discount. I'm telling you guys, that's why you got to tune into this broadcast. Remember, check us out. Go down to D&K Sioux City right down there on Mount Zion in Clayton County, right near the South Lake Mall. So you guys go on down there, check them out. Ask for Cornell Hardy. Tell them that you heard about it on the Real Talk Sports Show. All right, man. We appreciate you so much, brother.
All right, have a good one, man.
Have a blessed one.
Take care. All right.
All right, guys, we got one more break coming up here. We have a man that's hanging out with us in the green room. He's just arrived. He's been patiently waiting because we cannot wrap up the broadcast unless we talk about our Atlanta Falcons. If you want to hear more, you keep it right here to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast you on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook Live, and the Periscope. And for those of you listening for the radio on WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Nothing better than the sound of diesel in the morning. And what better place to get high horsepower diesel than the all-new 2020 Ford F-250, now with 475 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pound of torque. You know where to get it? From me, the minister, Jonathan Simmons at Allen Visual Ford Commercial Sales. Because you know why? I'm the commercial truck guy in a shirt and tie. All right, guys, we're back here. Final moments here, the Real Talk Sports Show. For those of you who are listening on WIGO, and of course, we always have extended time if you're watching us on social media, on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and of course, Periscope. Big shout out to those of you who are watching us on the replay. All right, we have a gentleman here that is the embedded beat writer for the AJC Sports for our own Atlanta Falcons. He's an award-winning sports writer. He also is a teacher and professor and Esquire par excellence. And the guy, he's got some nice hats and bow ties. D. Orlando Ledbetter, welcome back to our show, sir.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Simmons. Pleasure coming on the show.
Hey, man, listen, it has been it's been interesting. So the Falcons have found themselves winning another game, pulled out a 25-17 victory. Trade deadline has come and gone. I don't think we expected much to happen. Going forward, what do you think the outlook is for this team? They got a rough road ahead, but looking much better in these last 3 weeks for sure.
Yeah, no question about it. They've been able to together plan on the defensive side of the ball, where they're blitzing a whole lot more. Offensively, they're moving the ball, but getting stuck too much in the red zone. You know, they're 2-6 in the red zone against Carolina. Those are touchdowns. They blow them out. You know, then you have the situation in the Detroit game where Gurley scores when they are trying to kneel and run out the clock. So those are coaching issues that are persist. And got Denver coming there, bye week, the Saints, and then it's a rough stretch to close out the season. Two Tampa Bay games, Kansas City, got the Raiders and Chargers. So it's been tough second half of the season.
You know, Dowd, they put themselves in a terrible bind. I mean, like you just mentioned, 2 games that really should have been in their win column. That would have put them, I guess, at 4-5, which certainly is a whole lot more manageable than 2-7. Now, there's some talk. I don't know if you've heard anything more about this. The NFL, I heard something about the NFL may extend the playoffs to more teams if they continue to have problems with COVID-19.
Yeah. I was I'm switching out of it. But yeah, that's about playoffs. I haven't seen it because they're 2-6. I mean, they're not running the table. I mean, they're not going to get that schedule about the boxing. Maybe they can beat Broncos and the Raiders. But I don't think them being ready I'm not even gonna waste time looking it up. They get hot. Right now, I'm not even they had one less than 1% chance to make playoffs before this. If they get in, okay, part of the competition. I don't see them going 6-2 even like they did last year. I'm not even going to entertain the Falcons right now.
So in other words, in the words of our famous Coach Moore, playoffs. You talking playoffs? That's what you're basically telling me. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah. You really get
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of fans, of course, have, been saying, hey, they should tank the rest of the season and all that kind of stuff. And it really is difficult to ask, professional athletes to go out and somehow not play. Of course, that can be manipulated by coaches not playing, top level players and putting in backups up. There's always a way to kind of get around the situation. Let's go to social media here, see if we got folks commenting here. We got Coach Hardy here, HC Hardy. He's saying with the issues that pressuring the quarterback from the bookends, should the Falcons bring Vic Beasley back since he has been let go by the Titans? Of course, him and Grady have had chemistry in Clemson and Atlanta. Maybe Morris can coach him up. But what do you think about that, D-Led?
I thought about it, but last year, and they were like, there's no guy you pick because nobody knows who wants to play. They're like, he doesn't know the game. So, having here, a lot of money. I don't know if he's probably not Tennessee, but it's probably not a good idea to bring content guys bring up the locker room.
Well, I'm thinking at the end of the day, man, I mean, it can't, I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he got along with everybody in the locker room. He was a different kind of cat. I mean, when I talked to him a couple of times, did interviews, he was very low key. And I talked to him about his temperament at the defensive end position. He said, well, look, the Falcons knew what they got when they drafted me. He said, I'm myself. He just, to me, just never had the temperament that you're used to seeing from a defensive end or even a defensive player. He just didn't seem to have that controlled aggression that we're used to seeing on the field. So I don't know. I mean, I guess if they could get him cheap enough, I mean, he did. The realities are, did he underperform? He did, but he still was good for between 5 to 8 sacks a year. So that's better than seemingly what they have right now.
Yeah, they eight last over the last big game. I don't know what the deal is at the beginning. I'm football. He might just ride coach up. I heard he pulled up to the team in Tennessee. Like this coach company. He's probably
wow. Well, look, we're going to sign off really quickly here with the folks at WIGO AM 1570. We thank God for all those of you who have been listening to us on the broadcast. We thank God for our man behind the scenes, Eli Smith. If you want some great gospel music, he does everything from old school to new school gospel. Check him out Monday through Fridays, 9 to 12 noon, with the exception of Wednesdays, for the Eli Smith Show on WIGO 1570 at Lens Incredible Radio or on WIGOAM.com. All right, guys, until next time on WIGO, God bless you and have a great night. All right, those of you on social media, don't go anywhere. Like I say again, we're going to take one more quick little break here. I'm going to make some adjustments on our audio and see if we can maybe tighten up our background noise and so forth, get you an even cleaner sound. All right, guys, you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast to you from Atlanta's Incredible Radio and also on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on Periscope. Keep it locked right here. Don't go anywhere at all. Hey, everybody, we committed here along with our gold level sponsor, Allen Vigil Ford, to do something here to get back to the community. So not only did Mr. Vigil allow us to do a live broadcast on Facebook Live and on WIGO 1570 of tonight's game, he's also allowing us to present a small check to each school, $75 to each school, to help them defray the cost as they go forward in their football program.
Thank you.
Coach, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Coach, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Vigil, we thank you. All right. Yeah, that's what we do. Mr. Vigil is kind enough to let us do those things and to be able to support the young men. So we're going to make a little change here on our our microphone, so hopefully you guys can still hear us. And hopefully this will get rid of some of our background noise here. So we're going to make a quick little change here. And hopefully D-Led can still hear me, I hope.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So, yeah, I think that kind of eliminated hopefully some of our echo and noise there. And that will certainly take care of us here. I'm going to get myself back into the camera here because my camera got knocked over. So we're going to get back on here in just a second with you guys. And we can make it do what it do. But in the interim, I'm going to go ahead and while we're waiting, just kind of be here in the background. D-Led, again, we appreciate you for joining us and coming on as you do each and every week. So if you are Falcons GM, kind of what would be your thoughts as far as who would be the best option for the Falcons to get in a draft pick?
Well, right now, I think it's pretty clear that their problems are on defense. I just listened to Steve Weiss and Jim Trotter's podcast where Thomas Dimitroff was on. And he pretty much admitted that his failure was with two defensive coaches over 12 years. They failed on building a championship level defense. And so I know the folks want Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, but you really got to look at how you pick your defensive players, how you pick the line, and they got to be able to get some playmakers on that side of the ball in the draft. I'm probably going to go all defense for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps talking about this idea about getting a quarterback. Oh, we want to get a guy in here that's like you said, like a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields. But my whole thought was you need one of the terms that I kept hearing everybody start using a couple of years ago, this whole idea about a game record. And to me, that's something that the Falcons have never had on the defensive side of the ball. You've got game record on offense. You've got Matt Ryan, as much as you can detract from him. When Matt's on top of his game, he's an MVP. We saw he had an MVP year, and he's, statistically, year after year, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Okay, Julio Jones, first ballot Hall of Famer, most likely. So we've seen that, and we've seen guys have bang-up years for 1 or 2 years. I mean, we've seen the Michael Turner's rush for over 1,000 yards. We've seen Devontae Freeman. So we've had those guys with us on offense, but we've not. I mean, to me, we really never had that game changer on defense. So I'm with you. I'd like to see them try to find a guy that's just a stud on defense.
Yeah, we had the one during this time from 2008 to now, John Abraham, and
True.
then Smitty tried to play him in a game that didn't mean anything and hurt his ankle. That cost that team a Super Bowl trip. So
no doubt.
They drafted Witherspoon. Looked like he was headed on to be a great player, and injuries took him back. Everybody was pretty good along the way. It wasn't that many Pro Bowlers. Thomas Deku had a 1 year. He went to the Pro Bowl. I think Moore had one. Spoon never really got there. The defensive ends they kept drafting weren't any good. Grady Jarrett's had one. Keanu O'Neal, Deion Jones, they've had one, but not. There's nobody that when you play in the Falcons, who do you fear over there? You like, hey, I'm gonna take care of Grady Jarrett, and then I should be okay.
And that's it.
And that's it. So that's where they are, and that's not a good way to live.
Sure. Okay, we got a comment from social media. Vincent Turner, Mr. Football, talking about Patrick Surtain, the cornerback from Alabama. Yep. So I mean, listen. At the end, right. We need somebody on defense, like you said again, like that is going to be a guy that is going to be someone that's going to be a disruptive force. Somebody that people have to consider game playing around. Not only that will make other players better, because all those guys you mentioned, D-Led, there's no question if they had a game record, all those guys would be vastly improved, because now it puts so much more pressure on other teams, because you now you can't double team or triple team sometimes Grady Jarrett. You can't be in a situation where you just focus on, hey, we're going to try to get to the second level and get Deion Jones, because you got another guy there that is a disruptive force.
Yeah, over time though, we've seen that you don't really draft that person. That person doesn't just come in and be that. We see Quentin Williams struggling up in New York. We saw the USC kid up there. Go down the whole list, go all the way back to Dorsey, who came out of LSU. Folks wanted him over Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, that's right. Yep.
So, you might want to, when you see one, you better get him. You should have got Jason Pierre-Paul when he was on the market. Sue. Now Tampa's got all these guys that Falcons can't run the ball on. But yeah, whoever's been picking the defensive players, goodbye. We're going to bring in some more talent evaluators and do a better job drafting on that side of the ball. If you can find somebody that can come in, get you 10, 12, 13 sacks and, throw stuff around in the backfield and play next to Grady, man, that'd be awesome. If you could have got Derek Brown last year, playing yourself out of the top 10 and you got a cornerback. I do like the Surtain kid at corner, but my problems are more in the trenches.
Right.
You don't want to get pushed around. And part of the problem with that offensive line, they think that is a good line. I don't know. 4 times they ran the ball in the red zone against the Panthers, and they got 1 yard. They got 1 yard 4 times. And they tried to pass 6 times. He got sacked 2 of them and threw 4 incompletions because they're all in his face. So that line to me can be upgraded on both sides of the ball. I'm going to focus on both sides of the line. I know that's not sexy, but I'm tired of getting them pushed around, tired of having my quarterback rushing the ball out, and I'm tired of throwing passes on 3rd and 4th down and 1.
Well, you think about what you just said about the line not being sexy. Okay, let's take a look at 2 teams who basically changed. I don't want to overblow it, but they basically became teams that offensively were completely different. If you look at Dallas, when they drafted the way they did, and they got basically a couple of all-pro linemen, and then we saw the same thing in Indianapolis, where they brought in a young man that basically immediately, these guys had immediate impact and went to their Pro Bowls, and we saw that it changed the whole dynamic of the way these teams offensively perform.
Yeah, you Quentin Nelson and Brady from I think it's Brady or Brandon Smith from Auburn. They solidified that line. So if you can get that line together, you can do a lot more things. I mean, they don't have a quarterback, but they got the old guy now, Phillip Rivers. But that's a heck of a defense they got up there. They got some players right, including the great Darius Leonard from South Carolina State. So, the Colts are in a little bit better situation than a lot of other teams in the National Football League because they drafted good quality starters. They drafted, when their number came up, they took the best player on the board. They weren't taking, I'm going to take a cornerback because I need a cornerback, which the Falcons did and did when Big Beasley came up at 8. The best player on the board was Todd Gurley.
Yep.
You take the best player, and then you fill out the other areas in the scouting department and so forth. So maybe we'll get a general manager here that will take the best player on the board and build a team and build the talent, because the talent's going to win you the Super Bowl. It ain't going to be the coach.
No doubt. Let's go back to social media here. Mr. Football Vincent Turner also likes the young man from Michigan, Kwity Paye, the defensive end, talks about him being a good player. And the offense coordinator, Coach Hardy, who is one of our sponsors at DNK Sioux City, he says he feels that they should draft defense. However, veteran leadership on the defense is the key, like a guy like a Champ Bailey or Charles Woodson. So why not sign Eric Berry for 1 year, although he opted out for this year?
Yeah, I don't think Eric Berry could play anymore. It was pretty bad towards the end at Kansas City. Might be time for Eric to go on and sit and get ready for his call to Canton. But, that might have been a move a couple years ago.
Right.
I don't think Eric, when I call his people to even ask about it, I don't get a call back. So, that kind of lets me know where they're at with that. Because, if there was an opportunity for him to come back and the agent to make some more money, they would take the call.
They'll do it.
As far as the Michigan kid, I'm a little leery of the Michigan kids these days. Maurice Hurst, Rashard Gary, Peppers is, on his second team already. It's not the old Michigan it's not there yet. And I watched that conference, so I haven't heard of this kid's name yet. It's a ways before we start getting ready for the draft, but I would stay just what I know about the Michigan defensive linemen of the last few drafts. I kind of stay away from them.
Well, Mr. Turner, like, going back to the Big Ten again, he's also pointing out, how about the fella from the linebacker from Penn State, Micah Parsons? I guess he likes the Big Ten there. Or he's also talking about the line going back to the SEC, Alex Leatherwood, the big offensive tackle out of Alabama. Any of those guys kind of suit your fancy?
Yeah, Leatherwood shows up on the radar, certainly. Any Penn State linebacker, I haven't seen them play yet. Haven't seen Coach Franklin's squad yet this year. We'll go and see them later on. I think saw a little bit against Ohio State, but not enough to know who he was, Parsons.
Sure.
So, but yeah, certainly Leatherwood is Jake Matthews is he's getting up there. I mean, maybe he could still go and play 19 years like his dad. But if Leatherwood could come in and take over at left, maybe you can move Jake to right or to guard even. Because McGarry, we saw Brian Burns just run around him like 3 or 4 times in the game on Thursday night. But even he's supposed to be a good run blocker, but I don't see him running the ball over on that side either. So, but the new general manager is going to come in. Everybody's going to get a whole new evaluation, and not going to be no keeping guys because we drafted them stuff that went on during the Dimitroff administration.
No doubt. I'm going to big shout out on Periscope to MK6ville. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you. Also appreciate all of you watching the replay on Periscope. Big ups to you all. Appreciate you so much. One more time from Mr. Football. Also pointing out the offensive guard from Oklahoma, Creed Humphrey. So Mr. Football, I think, is like you, D-Led. He wants to see some beef up on that front line.
Yeah, they had a chance, and we're going to see this week. I didn't know what they were doing picking the linemen here for years, and I said every time, because everybody that they pick, and all you got to do is go back at the draft and see, like, well, who's the next guard to go? Who's the next center to go? And so, Massey, I'm going back to Lamar Holmes, Peter Collins, all that. I don't even got to go back that far. Just to this week, Reverend, they didn't want LSU center Lord Cushenberry.
Right.
Cushenberry went 5 picks later to Denver. He's coming here as a starter. He's already played 475 snaps, and Matt Hennessy can't get on the field because he can't move anybody around. There's a difference between Temple and the SEC.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't understand, because here's and this is what has been always the throw at the Falcons. You were in basically the capital of the SEC. They played a championship game here. You have a chance to see all these players. And here you have LSU, a championship squad. Their center, I'm thinking it's a no-brainer. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to pick this guy. And then when I hear them, they drafted Matt Hennessy, I was like, who? From Rutgers? Come on, man.
Temple, yeah. He had a good recommendation from Coach Collins at Georgia Tech, because he recruited him and moved him to center. But and he might be a fine football player. But when he got in the game this year, he was a liability because he couldn't move anybody. So he's basically catching folks. And at left guard and center, you can't. That's not going to work. And so since Raheem took over, Hennessy hasn't been playing. He's got 1 snap in. He got into 1 game when Alex Mack got hurt against Detroit, and he went in at center. So, I mean, he's a center of the future, but you had your center sitting right there from LSU.
LSU, there.
You took the kid from Temple.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that also kind of was a little disturbing under the Coach Quinn era. This whole idea about every player has to be a Swiss Army knife player. Well, not so much. I understand you want to have guys that have flexibility. It'd be great if guys can play multiple positions, but you don't have that many players that can really do that well. You know what I mean? So all this emphasis about, okay, we're going to draft. I remember when they drafted, I'm thinking to myself, you're going to draft a guy who has got his reputation as center. And you said, we're going to draft this guy, put him in, make him play guard for a couple of years, hopefully, until our center either retires or we get rid of him. Well, that doesn't make any sense because you got a guy that's an all SEC center that's right there. Bring that guy and let him not play, or let him play 15, 20 snaps at center, not at guard, not move to guard. We'll put the guy here. No, let him play his natural position. It's just these were the kind of oddball things that the Falcons did that I think that just drove their fans and their fan base crazy.
Yeah, no doubt, Reverend. They made the thing a little bit harder than it needed to be.
Yep.
It's real simple. Take the best player. Don't take Duke Riley because you need a linebacker. He wasn't. He couldn't have been the best player there. Don't take Jalen Collins because you want a big cornerback. That couldn't have been. We can easily go retrospective, but I mean, on that draft day, we're like, hey, this isn't the best player. So it ain't like we're looking down the road here. They missed too much in the draft because they did needs-based drafting. You can't miss in the second round. They kept missing there. Third round, looked like Marlon Davidson might be a miss too. Missed on Duke Riley. Missed on Deidre Sanat in the third round. Sean Harlow in the fourth because, you knew his dad when he played for New England. So, hey, I'd draft your kid, though, too, Reverend Simmons. If I was on the team, I'd keep him on the team, too. So, there's some of that going on, too. But, all you got to do, go to NFL.com, pull up the Falcons draft, or just go down the list. Say who played how many games in the NFL, how many starts, how many Pro Bowlers. You can do that for his draft, and they're going he's got some good years. He got Deion Jones, Keanu Neal, Devondre Campbell. Couldn't keep Campbell because you paid too much money to Freeman. You got Austin Hooper, couldn't keep him. But you got Matt Ryan. You traded for Tony Gonzalez. He had some good moves, but as far as building a defensive football team, championship level defense, that was a failure under the Dimitrov Smith administration and the Dimitrov Quinn administration.
No doubt. Let's go back to social media here for a few comments here. Mr. Football asking about Trey Smith, offensive tackle / guard from Tennessee. He likes him because Mr. Football from Memphis. So since he's from the 901, I give him a shout out. The other thing too is so I guess evidently there is some thought. Speaking of miss, if I can remember correctly, the Falcons had drafted Bud Dupree was drafted after. I can't remember who they picked, but Dupree was another guy. Everybody kept talking, he's from Kentucky, he's not big enough, da. Well, he's been a serviceable player. I guess he's to be a free agent. And Patrick Peterson, what do you think about the potential of bringing either one of those guys here to Atlanta?
Well, Bud, they're going to have problems. They don't have any money, but I think Bud went earlier than Tack.
Okay, he did. Okay, perfect. Okay, gotcha.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know Charles Harris did, but certainly, yeah, he was guy on their radar screen. Steve Tuitt was one that was on their radar screen a few years before that and went to Pittsburgh. So if Pittsburgh's drafting you, that's pretty good quality there. They also passed on when they took Tack, they passed on TJ Watt. So
right. That was I was at the house saying,
I know all of them, but that's one. But Patrick Peterson, maybe, man, if he's got any sense, he's gonna stay in Arizona because they're getting ready to be on a big Super Bowl push there. That's a fine looking team. But yeah, if you can get a player of that quality, maybe come in and be a Woodson type mentor to the D-backs, because maybe the Falcons are gonna be a over the hill gang. Certainly on the offensive side of the ball, because the contracts are what they are, and then on defense you gotta get better. And a lot of people think you could turn the Falcons around quickly with not a whole lot of moves and so forth. So, I'm hearing that from NFL people, not the fans. The fans want shiny objects and so forth. They want to blow it up and get rid of Matt Ryan and trade Julio for 15 draft picks. There's unreasonable stuff.
Yeah, you can't do any of that stuff. I'm gonna go back to social media one more time here. Our offense coordinator, Mr. Cornell Hardy. We already mentioned that. So he was talking about the idea of he said Bub was franchise tag for this year.
Yeah.
That's right. Got you. Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, now I'm gonna throw something out here, which I know the other team won't do, but I'm gonna throw it out here anyway. I would love to see. Everybody keeps talking about having a mobile quarterback. If that's on your book, I would love to see the Falcons trade. Of course, the Eagles won't now because their multi-million-dollar quarterback is playing like he's a rookie. But I really wanted to see them try to get the young man at Alabama. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Jalen Hurts.
Right. That's to me. I would be willing to give up a 3rd-round pick to get him because I just think that he would be a good fit down the road. And the other thing too is to give you kind of what New Orleans has, bring a guy in that you can kind of change the pace a little bit, and the guy's always familiar with your next gen receiver because he threw to him at Alabama. So, what are your thoughts about the idea of the Falcons trying to maybe do something to get Jalen Hurts in here, if the Eagles would agree with something like that?
Yeah, Eagles. Jalen. I saw the I don't know why I watched the Dallas Eagles game the other night.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was desperate. Desperate times.
Little wide receiver, but I know our good friend Chip Smith, who trained Jalen for the combine, has trained Kaepernick and a lot of other quarterbacks. He insisted he's a quarterback, so I go with Chip Smith. But yeah, he would be great to bring in. He was a wonderful kid. I met him at the Senior Bowl. I got to interview him and down there, and could have had a one-on-one with Chip talking about him and so forth. So I think I did. I don't remember, but certainly when you see the way what Kyler Murray's doing, what Patrick Mahomes is doing, Lamar, the kid, even Josh Allen at Buffalo, these defensive linemen can't. They're moving, they're coming. They're fast, so you got to be able to make some plays on the move on that second play, on that Russell Wilson second play. Certainly, you get a good quarterback coach in here because we're seeing Lamar struggle a little bit. He's got to throw the ball outside the hashes. Everybody knows he's throwing it down the middle right now, and he's throwing fastballs. So if Jalen got some touch, can read the defenses, rollouts, and so forth. Yeah, you have an extra weapon, and it's not Russell Gage. They got Russell Gage doing that stuff for him now.
Right. And so at the end of the day, I'm thinking you got a guy in here that's already familiar with, like I said, again, your future number one receiver, had good chemistry down in Alabama, a young man that can throw the deep ball. That's one thing I think that this Falcons offense a lot of times sputters because that big play attack where you got a guy beat by a couple of steps and you're not saying, I got to slow down a little bit, where you can hit that guy in stride. I just think it'd be great. And the other thing, too, is like you mentioned, to give you a change of pace. I'm not trying to put the guy in there immediately, but to give you that ability that on a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and 1, maybe in a 4th down call, you can get him in here and the defense be back on their heels because you don't know whether he's going to try to run the ball or pass it.
Yeah, Matt is a rhythm thrower to space. So you got to be where he's throwing at the right time, and the ball's going to be there. So that's a whole different thing than just blowing the top off of the defense. They did do it with Shanahan because they had all the fakes going, the bootlegs, and they flipping the field back on you, and they snuck somebody behind you. So then he was able to throw to his spots, and just it's a physical liability, or if you want to call it a liability, that's what it is. Because I saw early in his career where Julio was like 10 yards behind the D-back down in Tampa. And I was like, oh, man, Matt, you signed us. He put it all into it. And Julio had to kind of hold up and wait, and then he got stuck, So that's just not Julio and Matt, worked it out. You got to hit Julio on the move, on his crossing stuff. He'll sit down in the zones. I mean, they know where each other are.
No doubt.
As far as just running a 9 route and blowing the top off, that's not in their offense right now.
No. But I will say this, D-Led. I think Matt's been hearing me keep talking about him running because, dude, the last couple of games, he got me what I wanted. About 5 carries, about 4 or 5 yards. He can pick the first down here and there, and then ran for a touchdown, D-Led. I know he's hearing me.
That was his longest of his career, Reverend. So I know he's been listening to you. Because that was a 13-yard touchdown, longest in his career. I thought the cornerback was going to come over and light him up, but he slipped.
So I'm telling you, Matt, I know you're listening, but I told you, everybody gets excited when you run, brother. You send an energy boost to the entire team, to the fan base. I'm not trying to say, try to be Michael Vick, but give me those 4 or 5 runs, pick up a first down here or there, touchdown. I'm good. Let's go back to social media one more time here as we get ready to end this broadcast here. Offensive coordinator, Mr. Hardy, he said it would never happen, but Matt Ryan would be a great fit for the Patriots. I don't think that the Patriots would be willing to pay all that money. That's not how Belichick works. And also he's saying here, what's the issue with Mohamed Sanu? What's happening with Mohamed Sanu? Is he done?
He got old. It happens.
Wow.
You can't get open anymore. The last person to know it is Mohamed Sanu. But if he can get open, he would have stuck with them 2 teams. It was sad. I've been watching for a while. The day I would know where I was, the day that Terrell Owens didn't catch a ball in Buffalo, I was like, "Oh, this is the end."
That's it.
Yeah, because once you stop getting open and you start seeing 0-0-0 lines, that means you didn't get open, and that's what's wrong with Mohamed Sanu. He's 32. He had a good career here and with the Bengals, but the last 2 years he's been getting shots here. The last 3 years, so with the New England and San Francisco. So that's 3 different opinions that he's not any good anymore. So it might be time to get on with his post-career life also.
Well, he's good on social media with that bean talk, so maybe he can kind of bring that. He's a likable guy. So maybe that'll be a great spot for him. Well, let's see. We got one more comment here for social media before we wrap it up here, and let's see what it says. He says the Saints Army knife. Oh, the Swiss Army knife won't open up anymore. Done. Talking about Mohamed Sanu, right? Yeah,
there we go.
Yep. But no, at the end of the day, listen, man, certainly his time here in Atlanta was a special time. It's just sad that team couldn't achieve what they should have achieved, which was a Super Bowl victory. And really, I really think they could have been back-to-back champions. I really do. I just think had they won that Super Bowl, that they could have come back and won, because the way I look at it, with all that junk they went on, losing 28-3, they were still able to come back and lose at the last second to the eventual champion that year, which was Philadelphia. So I think had they been able to won that, it would have been an entirely different dynamic. Well, but that is water over the bridge. Can't go back in time. All right, D-Label, listen, let everybody know where they can find out more about you, your blog, all the great stuff you do. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend. Yeah, you can find everything we do on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC, our webpage, ajc.com. We'd like for you to subscribe and get your print and digital products there. We have the Cover 9 at 9 blog dropping every Wednesday at 9 a.m. and the Bowtie Chronicles podcast, everything you need to know about the Atlanta Falcons, 8 a.m. on Wednesdays and then 8 a.m. on Mondays right after the game to wrap it up and give you some insight and let you hear from some of the players and so forth. So, and then also lastly on Facebook at Atlanta Falcons News Now.
Well, there it is, guys. It doesn't get any better than that. If you want the best in Falcons coverage, unbiased, unbought, all those things, check out the D. Orlando Ledbetter. Hey, D-Led, before you go, one last thing here. Were you an early voter? Did you vote today? Kind of how did you handle it?
Yeah, I early voted. Of course, the vice presidential candidate's a classmate of mine from Howard University. I mean, she was a sophomore when I was a senior, so we know some of the same folk. Hopefully everything goes well. I'm trying to distract myself and not watch everything right now.
You're right. That's why people ask me, what are you going to do? I said, listen, I voted today. I'm kind of an old school guy, and I felt that with so many people talking about early voting, that I was blessed. I got in there. There were 7 people there total when I got there. Parking lot was pretty much empty. Got in and out very easily. So that's it. I just tell you, my prayer has been just very simple, that the country understand that that its legacy has been the peaceful transition of power. And so it made me feel kind of uneasy when I had someone sitting in the chair saying, well, I can't guarantee that. Because that's not how we go about our business. If you're asked to go home, you need to go home. Okay.
Right.
And you can come back and you can run again, but you got to go home now. So
Right.
hope that's the case. And on the other end, the same thing. If the other candidate does not win, we certainly are not looking for people to get out in the streets and protest and knock anything down. Hey, man, it's a wrap. What you have to do, and I'm speaking to everybody, whether you're on the right, the left, whether you're black or white, whether you think you are a radical leftist or whether you think you're some type of white supremacist, you need to understand here, we're all living here together. And, this is about one country. We don't have to agree. We're going to agree to disagree, but we all got to live here. And that's all I got to say about that. And I think, D-Led, once again, sports is going to be a big factor, no matter who wins, in healing this country. As strange as it is, but sports usually has to step up to the plate to kind of get people's sensibility right.
No question about it. The democracy will prevail. We're going to have some issues from here, from that side to this side, but at the end of the day, when the people have spoken and the democracy has decided to go which path it's going to go, let's go and handle it the best way possible.
That's correct. Everybody, I couldn't say any much better than that. The Esquire has spoken. Everybody, we appreciate each and every one of you who listen to our broadcast. We thank you for joining in. And D-Led, we thank you for joining us as you do whenever you can. So God bless you, man. Be safe. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, right?
All right. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir, Reverend Simmons. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Have a blessed one. All right, guys. That's just it. It's we're here, and I'm sure that by the end of the night, we may or may not have a new president selected because I think they're gonna have to get the absentee ballots and so forth. But our prayer is that everyone remain peaceful, everyone remain calm. Remember that God is still in control. I don't care which guy gets elected. Once the dust has settled, it's our job to continue to seek the Lord in prayer and then continue to move forward as the Lord directs us to be the best citizens we can of the United States, wherever we may be. All right. The best way to do that, how you do it, I got to ask you the question. Do you know Jesus Christ, your personal Savior? If you don't, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. Why? Because nobody loves you like Jesus, not your mom, not your auntie, not your grandmama, and them, not your BFF. No one loves you like Jesus. He died for you. And that's how you have a relationship with God, is that through a relationship with him. Repent of your sins, believe he died and was risen from the dead, taking all your sins with him, and go tell somebody. And guess what? You become a full-blown citizen of heaven, and you become a child of God. All right, guys. Love you very much. God bless you. Until the next time, be blessed and so long.